and welcome back to my subscribers. If you're not already a subscriber, I'll put a link here for you. Today I've got the Xrail magazine extension. This one's mounted on an 1100, a Remington 1100. It's very similar in modifications done to it that you've seen in my previous video on my 1100 that I use for 3-gun competition. Mine's set up for the tactical division. But with this Xrail system on the front here, this will put you in the open division because you're basically going to use, or you have the ability to put 23 rounds in the shotgun, when in tactical division you can only use about 9. Let's see if I can pan this. I can't back out far enough to show this thing, but it's a 28-inch barrel, I believe, on this 1100, and so the magazine extension sticks all the way out to the barrel just about, and then it screws onto the end. We've got an EOTech spoof, I guess, of a Bushnell, looks just like an EOTech, and then we have the typical modifications on the 1100 that I have on mine. This particular 1100 is wearing the black plastic furniture. But going back to the Xrail, because that's what I really want to show you today. This sucker here holds 23 rounds. So that means a lot of shooting and virtually little reloading, if any. Basically, once you load it from the gate down here, you're going to put 10 rounds in this first tube up here on the top. You notice it's got an end a little bit longer here at this one. This is the main tube. You can, if you unscrew this right here, you can pull out that first spring. That's important to know, because if you do turn the Xrail with no bullets in it and you're not paying attention, this top spring will bind in this tube and the main tube in here. And this is the retention pin, or that keeps the Xrail from turning. So I'm going to grab a hold of the plastic part right here and then grab a hold of this pin and you pull it out. And when you pull it out, then I can turn this. So it wants to turn once I do that. So you do not want to do that with no bullets in it. So don't, if you have one of these or are going to look at one, don't fiddle with this pin right here and this, otherwise your spring's going to get bound up and then you'll have to unscrew this, remove the spring, make sure you get everything nice and straight again, and then put the spring back in and tighten this up. But let's take a look at loading this thing. I got some dummy rounds here, so I'm basically going to feed them right in here. So we'll put in one, and then we'll go back to the Xrail so you can actually see that. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and right about now you'll see a follower show up. These are the followers inside the Xrail. This is going to keep the cylinders from spinning. So once we load this tube up all the way and this follower gets down to this point and goes inside the tube of the 1100, that's when the Xrail will be keyed off and spin. So let's go with 7, I believe, 8, 9, and 10. So now we've got our first tube loaded up all the way. There's our follower at the end. You want to grab this firmly down here on the plastic end and grab this. It's a little awkward. I've basically got the butt of the gun underneath my shoulder, underneath my elbow. Grab a hold, pull here, and turn a quarter turn. I can let go of the pin now until it clicks. So now we're ready to load up this next tube. So we load 1, 2, 3, and 4. So now we're ready to load the next tube. Grab a hold of the tube again, nice and firm. Pull here on the pin right here, and then turn till it clicks. And then we load up 4 more. I've only got 5 more dummy rounds on me, so I'm going to stop after this tube, just because I'm in the house. Don't want to use any real ammo inside the house. So now we've got 3 of the 4 tubes loaded up all the way. So I'm going to cycle the action here. You're going to see these tubes in here, or these rounds in the tube, start to come out, or come down rather. Once it gets down to one more. You notice how it turned? So that's basically just cycled it, and we're ready to load another 10 rounds into the chamber. So I'm going to keep cycling through this manually so you can see that. So right about now on this next one, we're going to cycle it again. Let's take a zoom in here so you can see that. There it is. So now we're on our last tube. And then right here, this will empty out the gun. So that is a very effective gun for 3-gun, because I've always said in my other 3-gun videos, the key to shotgun portion of the stage is basically reloading. So if you can reload faster than most everybody else, assuming you don't miss, then you're one step ahead of everyone else. So if you have a large magazine capacity like the Xrail, you're already ahead of the game. Unfortunately, remember, you're going to be competing against the similar people with similar equipment. Looking at the Xrail, this one came already pre-mounted when I borrowed this, but it looks really simple to mount. You just screw it onto the end here, and it's got a couple of clamps right here to reinforce it and stabilize it a little bit more. But I had a blast shooting this thing. It's a little nose heavy once you get it loaded up, so the gun itself feels a little heavy on the front end. However, with all that extra weight, this thing did not kick hardly at all. It was fun to shoot. Ripping through 23 rounds of shotgun shells is a hoot. The only thing that got tired was my trigger finger from pulling the trigger. But the Xrail, if you ever get a chance to check one out, they're kind of expensive, around $700, but if you're looking for that competitive edge, this is definitely something you want to try out. Well, thanks for watching, and please subscribe for more competition shooting and gun reviews.